What's going on, Raider Nation? Long time no see. And the reason I'm coming to you guys with this video is because I want to show you a small clip of the conversation that I had with David Carr on my podcast yesterday. Now, this is just a small sample size of what we talked about. You can listen to the full podcast in the link that I'm going to drop in the description. Drop in there, check out the podcast, subscribe to it, because there's obviously a lot more content on the podcast as well as YouTube. So don't miss out on any of it. Again, link in the description, listen to the full thing. And the reason I wanted to talk to him mainly, and I was really itching to ask this question, was about the growing relationship between Derek Carr and Maxx Crosby. It's really good to see the two of them clicking from the offense and defensive side of the ball. Obviously, they have one common goal. Obviously, Max has turned into that dude on defense to really try and lead this team into the playoffs. And asking him that question turned into a whole list of things that the team and locker room has really grown into and the chemistry that they've built. So I want to jump into that, but first I also want to encourage you to check out blacksundayshop.com. Obviously, I'm always rocking their stuff, so I encourage you guys to check it out. I'm also going to drop a link to that in the description. Great quality gear, so load up on that for the 2021 season, blacksundayshop.com. But here, let's quit messing around. Here's that small sample size of my conversation with David, talking about Derek and Max and the growth of this entire locker room. So let's get into it. I want to know, because you know what I've noticed lately is Max and Derek. It seems like they have a really good growing relationship. It's nice to see like our offensive leader and one of our defensive leaders, young defensive leaders that are kind of coming up on our defense. Yeah. They're kind of getting on the same page. They kind of have a little groove. They have obviously a common goal with the Raiders. They want a championship. What can you tell us, about how they've grown closer over the past year?
Well, I think as it's hard because when guys are young, you don't know if they're going to develop and you don't know what type of player they're going to be. And you tend to, and I've had this conversation with Derek, it's not that you keep him at arm's distance, but you don't want to get too close to him because you just don't know, you know. And with Max, he was so good so early, and then you just don't know. So, and he's on the other side of the ball too. That's the other thing people don't really understand. Like Derek and Khalil had a really good relationship. They came in at the same time, same draft year, and so that was kind of just a natural relationship that they had. But like with other guys across the ball, Derek is almost not enemies with them at first, but they're going to compete a lot. And Derek's going to talk a lot of trash in practice. And like guys like Jonathan, like he's going to talk a lot of trash in practice. So they're not necessarily close right off the bat. But I think with a lot of those guys, Derek's developing a relationship with, because he realizes they're good football players. And they got a good nucleus of guys. And honestly, on the defensive side, they have a lot of ability. And I think that, not to get off on a tangent here, but I think that when you look at what the Raiders have done since John's been there, and you look at what he does on the offensive side of the ball, there's a lot going on there, right? There's a lot of moving parts. Derek orchestrates it all brilliantly because he's, like I've said before, he's the best I've ever been around. And I get a lot of heat for this. I've sat in rooms with Eli Manning. I know Peyton well. Derek's as good as anybody I've ever been around at understanding what the defense is doing, understanding what his offense wants to get done, and finding a completion. Like some people are going to get on you because maybe you find too many completions, or you just find where the throw is that you need to get it out of your hand because that's the right play. Sometimes it goes for 4 yards, but sometimes the big play is there and you take a shot. So he's great at that. And John's orchestrated that brilliantly. Darren Waller's there. They're getting pieces on the offensive side of the ball where they're good enough on the offensive side of the ball to go win a Super Bowl. So then on the defensive side, I think the thing that has been kind of missing is John. He had the defense coordinator that was there the last couple of years. Yeah. So he was intricate as well. He asked him to do a lot, and I think that sometimes guys got overwhelmed. You didn't necessarily have, unless you had like Vontez out there, or you had a guy that had been around that could line everybody up. You didn't have Derek on that side. Yeah. You had a bunch of young guys. You had some veteran guys, but they would just kind of get thrown in there, and they would try to make it happen. But it's so much different. So now you fast forward to where they are now with Gus and what they're doing on defense. You're not asking them to do a whole lot, and you can play fast. And I think it's a great combination. I think it's a winning combination because you don't have to be top 10 in defense. Yeah. You just have to be in the middle. Yeah. Top 15. Get your offense that's really good. That's going to be top 10 every year. get them a few extra possessions per game, maybe make a couple nice stops in the fourth quarter, right? And then go win 4 more games and then see what happens. So I think that what they've done now is really good. It's a good combination. The things that I'm hearing coming out of their training sessions, just from Derek, because Derek, he gets what they're doing on offense. They're dialed in. They're just trying to find the right pieces, put guys where they want to put them. Hopefully, guys like Ruggs and those guys take the next step. And hopefully Brown can come in and kind of fill the void that Nelly left. Like they're figuring it out, and they will. But on the defensive side, he's been encouraged because guys are playing fast. They know what to do. They know their assignment. It's very simple. And so you have a lot of guys that are physical specimens, like guys that can just run and hit, play fast, not have to think too much. And on the defense side, that's kind of what you want, So I think that it's a good combination. I'm excited to see, so I think that's where you see, now back to your point, where you see the relationships developing, because now Derek is like, Max is a good football player. He just needs to be put in the right position to make plays. And Jonathan's a good football player. He just needs to be put in position to make good plays. And so now they're starting to develop relationships because he understands that they were asked to do a lot, and I think that maybe it was too much. And now I think it'll be a much better situation.
And boom, that'll wrap it up. Again, if you guys want to hear more conversation with me and David Carr talking about this 2021 Raiders football team, drop down in, subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. I'm on Apple, Spotify, Pandora, whatever you listen to your podcasts on. Just search the Raider Cody podcast, and you will find it. Don't forget to also like and subscribe to this video, and I'll see you guys the next time around. Later.